Hello everyone and welcome back to another video, and we're here with the Venom spoiler review. And Venom Let There Be Carnage, no, not the first one, the second one.
Yeah, the moment I've been waiting for, so I can really rip this movie apart and tell you exactly why it's so bad.
I didn't even watch the video that you made for the first one, because I just wanted to hear it in this video. I want to hear all of it in this video. So, you've heard the non-spoiler bit. I mean, I just watched it today, so it's fresh in my mind. Let's just get into it. I mean, if you're here for and you haven't watched it, I mean, don't watch it. But,
what's your opinion, actually? Because you didn't say what your opinion was. I mean, I think we could already tell. But
it's not a good movie, but I enjoyed it more than the first one. I enjoyed it more than like a couple of movies this year as well. Even though it gets a lot of things wrong, I can still appreciate there's a decent bit of action and the designs are good. Basically, the stuff that I took from the first one, except for the action part, because it was like the action in the first one was crappy. But yeah, I'll talk about it further down the line. Let's just start. I don't even know.
Shit, to be honest.
I don't even know where to start with this.
Well, first of all, let's just say spoiler warning once again. So if you haven't seen the movie, click off this video, come back once you have. Or don't go and see the movie, just listen to what we have to say. It might serve as a warning. So, yeah, let's get into it. Right, let's start with the opening scene with, I guess, the introduction of Cletus Cassidy's character, or Woody Harrelson, who's pretending to be a version of Cletus Cassidy. Anyways, it starts showing some like orphanage, and obviously Carnage is there. Well, not Carnage. Cletus is there. And his girlfriend, Shriek, who we learn very little about, and they tell us that she's... I think, do they have a line where they say she's a mutant or something? They say something about mutation.
Something about mutation.
It's a very small line that explains her powers, and they don't go into it further beyond that. I feel like that's a very big, if she is a mutant, it's a very big thing to kind of just drop on us.
I'm just checking in the comics if she is a mutant or not, because... I'm not sure, because they don't really, well, apparently she's a Spider-Man character, so she might not be a mutant, but I don't know, it depends how they want to do, I don't know.
You know, it's another Spider-Man character is in a movie that Spider-Man isn't. But...
Yeah, I mean, we addressed this problem. We didn't actually get to speak about the first one, because the channel wasn't made in the first one, but yeah, that was, it's probably a good thing that didn't happen, but,
yeah, for some reason, Carnage has a girlfriend in this movie. What did you think of that?
Yeah, I agree with you. You said before I went into the movie, you said that Carnage shouldn't be having any type of relationship. He's just the whole point is he's meant to be a serial killer, hates everyone, kills everyone, kind of thing.
He in my opinion, he shouldn't care about anyone. He's just literally his whole thing is. I mean, it's in his name. It's Carnage. He just wants to kill everyone for basically no apparent. I mean, I guess there's sort of reasons that he's just insane and that he's a serial killer, but basically for no reason he should just want to cause as much destruction and kill as many people as he can, which they didn't do. I mean, they sort of did it in ways, but then again, he's kind of in this movie he's fueled by trying to free his girlfriend from jail.
And the reason why Carnage loses at the end, he loses. Surprise, surprise, big shock.
Without Spider-Man fighting him somehow, Carnage just got beaten by Venom on his own. But
the main reason he loses is because of the thing where they the Carnage symbiote and Cletus is torn between Shriek, because Carnage tries to kill her basically, but that's because every time she bloody opens her mouth, he gives Venom and Carnage a little fit, which is what should happen, but. I don't know, this movie does that a bit weirdly as well in terms of the sound.
Well, it's very inconsistent with things because, I mean, they literally have a line in this movie where they address the fact that Venom should have died in the first one, and then they just don't explain why he's alive at all. It's literally just pointing you in the face and saying, we know that you come and paid to see this movie, and we know that you probably really don't care about, the story or anything with this, and neither do we, so we're just going to give you a crappy story with no explanation of anything. So we don't know why Venom's alive, and we don't find out, even though he should have died at the end of the first one, but...
One other thing I don't understand is how, it didn't feel like a movie. I don't understand how you make a movie.
Of scenes that were just, strung together.
I don't actually think I've ever had that experience in cinema before, where I've been to the cinema, I watched a movie, but it didn't feel like a movie. I think this is the first for me.
The thing with the first one is, like, it's not a horrible, like, no, I was about to say it's not a horrible movie, but it is. It's not it's got a basic structure. It's got a first act where Eddie's just being like an idiot, basically just being a bum. And then he's got the second act where he gets the symbiote. The third act, he goes and beats Riot. This doesn't really have acts. It's just kind of like, things happen. Cletus breaks out of jail. A few more things happen that's not like, doesn't really lend itself to coherent story. And then Eddie and Venom, even though it should be Eddie and the symbiote, because Venom should not be his own character. He should just be part of Eddie. But anyways, they go and fight Carnage at the end, and then it ends. And then they do a post-credit scene, which we'll talk about in a bit.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. That's all like another discussion. That's why this video is probably going to be like long as hell. But I don't even know. I don't really know where to start with this properly. I think with this movie, I was saying this to you before, the first like half an hour, and this is up until Cletus breaks out of his like trial death thing, when they're about to kill him. I thought that
basically before the movie actually starts is where it's like,
I think it's okay. Going. You get some stupid parts with the Venom going to get the chickens and stuff, which is I've gotten over the fact like they've made Venom like a joke, so I was kind of going along with it. But then they start doing some dumb crap. They just start doing some. Did
you not watch the first movie?
You know what? I don't know what I was expecting, to be fair. I mean, I'm really like, I can't even like piece my thoughts together. I think the one main thing in the movie.
Don't worry, I've had almost a whole week to think about this. So.
I think one main thing, one of the main plot points of the movie is when Venom leaves Eddie. That part was stupid.
Which is a completely idiotic. Like, whoever made that decision while writing this movie just needs to like never write a movie again or just touch these characters in any way ever again, because why would you spend the whole of the like I felt like this movie before we saw the footage of it, I was like, okay, this is going to be the same as the first one. When they announced this movie, I thought, okay, the first one was like a complete mess because they took it from an R rating, cut out a bunch of stuff and made it like a shorter kind of PG-13 neutered version of what it originally was. So I was like, okay, maybe they can fix it in the second one. Then this one feels the same, where they've just like completely kind of abandoned any sort of form of being serious or anything like that. And I don't think there's one point in this movie where there's like a serious like tone to it. I think the only two like scenes I could probably think of are the scene where Eddie goes to watch Cletus's death, or well, in quotation marks, and then the bite and stuff happens when Cletus is tormenting. When Cletus says to Eddie that your mum left or whatever, even though it's like, how does he know this information?
They don't explain.
He's in jail. He's in jail. He doesn't get any sort of like connection to the outside world, yet he knows Eddie's entire life story. Doesn't make any sense.
They don't explain that, actually. Yeah, that's a good point.
I told you, man. I've had a week to think about this. It's all processed in my head.
No, because I was thinking that while I was sitting in the cinema, but I didn't. I like when I came out, I forgot about that because a lot of stuff happened after it. But yeah, that's actually a good point. That's like that scene maintains a serious tone until Venom starts going and he sticks his bloody tentacle thing in the side of the cage, not cage, the cell, and then Eddie starts going.
That's
what the hell was that?
I don't care about this movie as well. When Eddie's because they do a lot of this like they did in the first one, because I assume they don't want to spend money on CGI. They have a lot of Eddie just talking to Venom, and Venom just kind of talking to him in the background, or the symbiote. Because again, Eddie and Venom should not be two separate entities. That doesn't make any sense. That's just completely stupid. But anyways, they have a lot of stuff where they're talking to each other, and people like. There's only like 2 scenes in the movie where people question like, what are you, like, who are you talking to, and what are you doing? Most people just like act like, oh, he's just talking. Also, why can't other people hear Venom?
Nah, some people can, can't they?
Well, some people can, but some people can't.
Like Mrs. Chen can. what's the girl's name? The woman, the Anne. Is that her name? Yeah,
Anne Wayne.
She can.
Yeah, but they can only
Dan
hear
can.
him at certain points. But like, it's like, why can you hear him sometimes and sometimes you can't? It doesn't make sense.
Maybe it's just who he chooses to speak to, kind of thing. I don't know. Because maybe when he's speaking to Eddie, he's speaking like as a conscience. Like
you know what would just be a smarter idea if he didn't talk at all and he only like it was Eddie talking through Venom when they're just like.
It wouldn't make for a very entertaining movie though. But this is why Venom shouldn't
be without
Spider-Man.
That's why they shouldn't have made a movie with Venom on his own.
But I think to talk about this and actually look at the movie properly, we're gonna have to get past that fact. I was speaking to you. I was telling this to you before. I kind of have to get past that fact now. They shouldn't have done it, but now we kind of just have to accept it and move forward and think, okay, so they have done this. I don't think if they made like a solo movie with Venom, like where the symbiote just doesn't talk, it wouldn't that wouldn't have like connected with audiences at all. Even though it would have been accurate, it wouldn't have connected with audiences at all. And that's why I think.
I mean, if he's running around biting people's heads off, even though they do the same thing in this one, by the way, as the first one, where whenever he bites someone's head off or he does anyone in this movie does anything remotely violent, it will just cut away. That was just stupid. Like, the main one was when, spoiler alert, I guess, he kills Cletus at the end. So Spider-Man's not going to fight Carnage, first of all. And second...
Well, Carnage could come back if, like, legit, that basically just says, if you bite Eddie, you're going to turn into Carnage. Is that... kind of? I think that's what the logic is behind this. But
only if you eat the symbiote that he, like, kind of spits out. Cletus is like...
Yeah. And then Venom eats it, and then I don't know. This movie doesn't make any sense, and obviously it wasn't gonna ever make any sense following from the first one, because obviously the first main point of the end of the first one is how is Venom still alive, and they never explain it. Yeah, I feel like you just have, if you want to kind of enjoy this movie a little bit, like I enjoyed this movie a little bit, like the end fight scene as a whole, it wasn't
The only scene... Oh, yeah, actually, go on. You said...
It wasn't a big of a mess as it was in the first one. Because, the first one, we said...
This is a big blurry mess.
It's just like lines and blobs in between each other, like doing some next madness. This, they actually stay as physical beings punching each other, which doesn't make any sense because it's symbiotes. But actually it does, because that's what happens in the comics. So, yeah, they fix that part, and it makes for like a better visual
That fight
experience.
Visually was okay. But it's the things that happened like within that fight that annoyed me.
Like, go on, let's talk about that.
Okay, well, I guess we're going to talk about the end fight. So basically, what's happening is Cletus and Shriek are getting married.
The Red Wedding?
Did you? Yeah, the Red Wedding, man. I wish I was at the...
That's what they're going to call it. On the Blu-ray, when you like pick your... on the Blu-ray...
The chapter select.
Yeah. They're going to call the last part the Red Wedding. I guarantee that.
That's just... What a movie. It's horrible. But anyways, Cletus is marrying his girlfriend. Why I should be able to say that in a Carnage movie, like a movie with Carnage in it, it's quite beyond me that Carnage is getting married. But this is what is happening in this movie that people were paid to write. And then they also, you were pointing out that thing. If they're going to go with the comedy, at least write good comedy.
That actually would have been funny. That actually would have been a bit funny.
Where
but
the priest says, "Does anyone object to this marriage?" And then they could have had the perfect opportunity.
Venom runs in at that time as well. It's not like
Venom just burst in and say, "I object," like just to make it stupid, because this movie's already dumb as is. You might as well just go all the way with it.
I would have actually enjoyed that part, but they actually did it, and it really annoyed me. Like, you did every other stupid thing under the sun, but you couldn't do that. Oh, what the hell, man? It's like if you're gonna go with the stupid concept, at least run with it. Like, don't do it don't pick and choose when you're gonna do it. But yeah, carry on.
Anyways, Eddie and Venom start fighting each other. Not Eddie and Venom. They were fighting each other throughout the whole movie. There's basically just them bickering at each other for the whole thing. But Venom and Carnage start fighting each other, and I mean the fight itself is pretty cool until they decide to have a scene where they like kind of get kicked out of their symbiotes. I guess.
Hello, doesn't that remind you of the part? That's just like triggered in my mind now. Does that remind you of the part where the vibranium train comes in Black Panther and they both have the suits like just come back down? Yeah, that reminded me of that part. But yeah, go for it.
CGI was just as good as well. And actually, no, it wasn't as bad.
CGI was CGI was okay in this one. It wasn't too bad. There was
It's
parts
better
where it
than
was
the
like a
first
little bit
one, but
wonky.
it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't like amazing.
It wasn't horrible. I don't
Yeah.
think there was like one point where I looked at it and I was like, "Wow, that's extremely bad." But
Yeah,
then
I
again, there
agree.
was so much happening on the screen, you couldn't focus on one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, carry on.
And a majority of this fight was shown in the trailers, by the way, because Sony. But
Yeah,
when
that's
they're
Sony.
fighting, they like you just said, it's kind of like Black Panther. They get kicked out of their symbiotes, and then Cletus is like, it's mano y mano now, or something like that. And then him and Eddie start fighting, I'd say, but it's basically Cletus kicking the crap out of Eddie, even though Eddie should be like, I feel like he should be a bit stronger, considering but then again, this version of Eddie doesn't resemble the comic version anyway. But Eddie Brock's like a bodybuilder in the comics, and he's like, he's a big buff guy. In this, it's like it's just Tom Hardy there getting beat up by, and it's not like Tom Hardy's been buff before. I mean, look at Bane. So it's like,
yeah,
they could have done that, but or had Eddie put up some sort of fight.
And Bronson.
Yeah, your new favorite movie.
We've been talking about it so much this week that I had to name drop it. Yeah, carry on.
But yeah, that was kind of weird. Then they have the line where obviously Venom's getting the crap kicked out of him because he can't do anything. He just can't fight. And then, well, he can fight, but like he's getting beat up by Carnage because Carnage is bigger than him for some reason. Again, they really paid attention to detail with this. Yeah, Carnage is kicking the crap out of him, and then he says, what does he say? Oh, he says when Shriek is kind of getting, what was it, beat up by, was it Stephen Graham's character where she's trying to kill him or something? This final act is a bit all over the place. So I don't fully remember it.
Nah, I think the final act is okay for some, like, because it kind of lays it out that everyone's trying to get revenge on each other. Like, so Shriek is trying to get revenge on the policeman. What's his name? Mullington, maybe?
Mulligan.
Mulligan.
Thing,
yeah. I don't know where I'm Mullington from. Because he shot her in the face. Cletus is trying to get revenge on Eddie, because he got him the death sentence, which didn't actually happen. So I don't know why he's getting so offended about that. And then, but then again, he's a serial killer, so okay, they're kind of doing something a little bit right there. And then Carnage is trying to get revenge on Venom because he gave birth to him? Question mark. I don't. That part doesn't make any sense.
And Venom's tried to fight Carnage because the plot requires it.
Venom's trying to fight Carnage because he wants to eat people.
Yeah,
that's his main motivation. Venom just wants to eat people. But then again, that's kind of fair enough, I guess. But they turn it into this comedic thing instead of making it like a dark way. But I don't know. It kind of humanizes the character a little bit, and I think that's what they're trying to do.
I mean, it's not like his original story was human enough. The fact that he had like cancer and all that stuff in the comics, but I guess Sony aren't. They're not interested in doing anything serious or dark with any of these movies. But I think
you know what, one problem with that, like where that's come from. I think the MCU takes the piss out of everything. So now a lot of the same companies are going to try and follow similar structures. The only one who didn't and did it very, very, very well was DC when they made the Joker.
The only thing that I say to that is that the thing that the MCU does is it has a lot of jokes, but it does know when to be serious as well. So, like, for example,
Endgame, I get what you mean.
Where certain things happen, they were serious with certain. I mean, like, I can see a lot of people saying that they don't know. Like, for example, in Thor Ragnarok or movies like that, where they're just like joking all the time.
Yeah.
But they do know when to be serious. This movie doesn't know when to be serious, like, ever, because it barely is. But
yeah, I get what you mean. It's kind of joke after joke with this movie. Yeah.
The other thing that really pissed me off in that final fight is when Carnage and the symbiote, because again I hate calling them by their names because that's not what they are. They shouldn't have names like that. But anyways, the symbiote and Cletus are arguing with each other, and then Venom says they're not the perfect symbiosis, but we are, so that's how we're gonna beat them. That's literally like it goes against the entire point of Carnage's character. Like the whole point of Carnage compared to Venom is that him and the Cletus and the symbiote are like perfectly in sync.
Yeah, so that's what they shouldn't have done.
Insane, crazy that are just like murdering machines basically. where, and that's even why Carnage refers to himself as I, whereas Venom refers to himself as we, to kind of like it shows that there's no disconnect there. They're basically synced up perfectly, and this movie just completely ignores that and doesn't do anything with that, which I think is why, in my opinion, they butchered Carnage's character in this movie. Which, by the way, I want to say it's not Woody Harrelson's fault. He gave a good performance with what he had, but
no, I think
what he had wasn't
Woody
very
Harrelson.
good.
I think Woody Harrelson gave a good performance. It was just like really, the relationship thing really ruined it. I think with the Carnage character, that's what like really ruined it. I think you know what, how they tried to recreate the bickering between Carnage and Cletus that they have with Eddie and Venom. And
it doesn't even
well.
work with Eddie and Venom. I don't think. I know a lot of people like that. I don't. I find it kind of like.
I've accepted that now. Accepted that now. I think it's quite like. I don't think it's hilarious all the time, but I think it is quite funny at times. There was they did drop a few dick jokes in this movie, which were they were okay. They weren't too bad. They were all right. They weren't like.
That's what I meant when I said this movie feels like it's written for like 10-year-olds. Like
they weren't too bad.
Like juvenile, like
they weren't as bad as that. They weren't as bad as like Ralph Boner or anything, in my opinion. But
yes, I guess I don't know. I mean, the jokes weren't as bad as that, but the movie itself was like much worse.
I think you know some criticisms that we would say with some of the characters. That's so like with Venom, if we're just getting the symbiote alone instead of like without Eddie. When Anne says, which I think this is a good thing, when Anne calls him a baby, I think that's what a lot of people think, like in terms of the audience, and they do address it, but it's like
just because you point out there's stupid things in your movie doesn't make them any less stupid.
Is it going to change? And
no,
I don't think it will, but I think that the post-credit scene may, like what it means after this, may possibly change that. We'll talk about that in a bit. I think that's why I said what happens in the post-credit scene could be a good thing for this, but I don't know. It's really confusing, and go on. I did like a few of the jokes were like so stupid that I actually found it hilarious. Like I wanted to say
how
this
dumb
one.
It was.
I would say this one because we haven't talked about this scene. We can talk about this scene now. We can talk about the nightclub scene.
I just want to talk. We'll talk about that after. I just wanted to talk about how the fight between Cletus and Venom or Eddie, whatever the hell you want to call them, how that fight ends. Because what happens is the symbiote kind of. I don't remember, how does the Carnage symbiote kind of go off of Cletus? What do they do? Do they burn him? I don't remember fully. You watched it today, so maybe you'll remember slightly better.
Oh my god, hello! I can't remember. I think the last thing I can remember.
How good this movie was.
The last thing I can remember with that part is when when Cletus he's in the rubble and then he's trying to grab the Carnage symbiote, but I don't remember how he falls. How does he fall? Something explodes.
I can't fully remember. As I said, I saw the movie a week ago. I probably should have done this a bit sooner, but I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Anyways, Venom eats the Carnage symbiote. What? What?
I mean, I guess the way that kind of you can make that make sense is that he eats it, so it goes back into his bloodstream, and it's from his blood, Eddie's blood. I guess, but then Venom eats like what? Chocolates, chickens, humans. He eats everything, so.
Yeah, but he doesn't eat other symbiotes.
Well, he didn't really get the chance to. Hello, wasn't there a few other symbiotes in the first movie? Where did they go?
Please, that's completely different now. Let's not talk about that. Yeah,
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that during the movie, but I don't know.
Why does he eat Carnage? Why is that a thing? Why does he eat Cletus's head afterwards, and then we're not going to see Carnage interact with Spider-Man ever again? Well, not ever again, but you know what I mean. Like, we're not going to see him interact with him anytime
Well, do you really want to see this version of Carnage interact with Spider-Man? He's probably just going to be yapping on about... I don't want to see this version of
Venom interact with Spider-Man.
Nah, I don't think this... you know what? I don't know how they're going to do this, because we could talk about this in probably 5-10 minutes or something once we finish
ranting about all the other stuff.
Yeah, once we finish the main body of the movie. I don't know, but I don't know about that point. We'll save that for a bit. Yeah, I think the eating the symbiote thing kind of makes sense because it just goes back into his bloodstream, kind of thing. I think that's the way. That's the way I make sense of it. I just now I'm like really curious. I just completely forgot how Cletus actually got separated from Carnage. Because at that point, Shriek was dead.
Oh well, she got covered by a bell. I don't know if she actually died. Why would she die from that?
I don't know. It depends if the bell actually, like, if there's anything under the bell that actually hit her, or if it was just the bell that just like covered her.
They took the actual like gong thing out of the bell. I don't know, man.
Something explodes. Something explodes in the building, in the church. That's something.
Hold on, what is it? I'm gonna look this up now.
Yeah. Okay. While you look this up, I'm gonna start with the nightclub scene. So, with the nightclub scene, obviously we haven't actually dove into the part of Venom actually splitting up from Eddie, which shouldn't have happened in this movie. The movie would have been a lot better if they didn't have that plot point where they split up. That doesn't make any sense, because another main problem comes in where when Venom attaches to any other person except for Anne, he turns into She-Venom. Doesn't make any sense. Maybe because of this symbiosis, perfect bond, whatever.
It'd be nice if they explained any of this stuff.
Yeah, they're not going to explain it. It was an hour and a half. They weren't going to explain any of this stuff.
Yeah, by the way, anyone who was saying to us, or like just saying in general, the runtime doesn't matter, there's good movies at 90 minutes. A, this movie's proof that that's not, like, that wouldn't have been true for this. And B, did you not watch the first one? There was no way this movie was going to be good in the runtime like that, but anyways, carry on. What was it about the nightclub scene?
Yeah, so if we start with the problem where when Venom transfers to any other body, like a random person, it's just Venom. Like the same Venom that's with Eddie.
Tom Hardy.
That's with Eddie. And yeah, the voice is Tom Hardy.
And also, it's like, what can you, like, if you were being realistic with these movies, what could you tell me about Eddie's character aside from that he's a bum and that he sounds like he's on drugs every like nanosecond? There's nothing you can tell me about his character that makes him interesting. So at this point, they might as well just have a movie where the symbiote just goes and jumps to a bunch of people because it's still going to be the same annoying Venom anyways.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that like really made the movie like that was one of the worst things in the second act for me. That just whole like thing, but they separate. That shouldn't because that means that if it goes on to anyone else, it just turns into Venom. So if it goes on to Spider-Man, why does it turn into the black suit? Because that's what they're gonna do.
It doesn't. It should just turn into Venom then. That doesn't make any sense.
But they're gonna do it. They're gonna explain it through the Bond thing. I think that's why they mentioned it.
I guess they don't have to do that. Because what's the point of giving Spider-Man the black suit now? But that's again something else that we'll address.
It depends if they. You know what? We just said it. Yeah. Spider-Man's the end credit scene. Everyone already knows by now.
Yeah. What a shocker! As I said in my non-spoiler review, it was the most predictable thing ever, and I don't understand why everyone was so shocked about it.
We'll speak about that in a few minutes. And the nightclub scene. That was one of the points where I actually was laughing my head off, only because of how stupid it was. When Venom gets the microphone and he's like, yeah, you want to speak about that line? I'm coming out the Eddie closet.
Out the Eddie closet, man, yeah, what? Professional screenwriters were paid money. Actual, like, they were paid currency that they could use to spend in a shop to write that line.
Mrs. Chen's shop?
They can go to whatever shop they please, man. Their money's not worth anything to me because it was paid to write a line like that. I'm coming out the Eddie closet.
That's like forcing it a bit, and I think that's what like the whole you can actually like explain this whole movie by it's forcing it a bit, just like it forces everything. But yeah, I think that part was just like let's just skip over that part.
And also, it doesn't make sense how Eddie can turn on a fire alarm and not kill, but you know what I mean, like. Hurt Venom and get him out, but he goes to a big nightclub with a lot of noise, and I'm pretty sure those places aren't like the quietest place on the face of the earth, and he's fine. He comes out afterwards and has a bit of a seizure, but that's because he's like he hasn't
had his chocolate or whatever.
Yeah. So.
Is Venom like the opposite of a dog, where he has to eat chocolate, where a dog can't eat chocolate because they're gonna die? So Venom's like, he has to eat chocolate because if he doesn't, he's gonna die. He eats M&Ms.
What you're saying this like they put any thought or logic into any of these movies? I really don't think there was that much deep thinking.
I don't know what this thought process was with this like Sony Spider-Man universe thing where they're like trying to tie it all. They don't have a plan to tie it all together. We said this in one of the previous videos.
They didn't, which like Kevin Feige basically had to come and fix it for them with the post-credit scene.
They're just trying to they're just doing it as they're going along. It's not working. But anyway,
since we've mentioned it a lot, unless you have anything else to say about that nightclub scene.
Oh yeah, the part where everyone starts to love Venom for no reason just because he starts talking about Eddie, and then the woman goes, "I love you," and he goes, "I love you too." That part was making me laugh.
I think it's just like the absurdity of it that just makes me laugh. It's like, this is what Venom, this big monstrous villain, is just reduced. Like, this is what he is now. And people pay money to go and watch this, and it's gonna make loads of money, just like the first one did.
While I was watching the movie, you know when that line came up when she goes, "I love you," and he goes, "I love you too," I was contemplating pulling out my phone and texting you saying, "What the hell is going on?" Like, just that.
You're saying that like I would have had an explanation for you.
that part was funny. I don't know if I was like laughing because of how like I was just being hysterical out of how just I don't know what was going on, because why is these movies being made? I don't know.
Money, that's why. Because as I said, the first one made money, and so will this one. And Venom will probably continue to be like this because Sony doesn't care about accuracy or anything like that, or making a good character. They just care about money. So these things make money. That's what's going to keep happening. They just keep making these.
Yeah. And this is why I said, when, like, you know, if they tried to do a serious Venom movie, I don't think it would have made that much money.
I do. I think it would have. Because it's Venom. But Sony don't care about that. They just want to try and emulate what the MCU does because that's successful. So we'll just do that. Because don't forget, the first one was originally going to be R-rated, wasn't it? And they chopped it up so they could put Spider-Man in there eventually.
But you know what I don't get about the first one? The first one's going to be R-rated and dark, but they chopped it up in that. Tom Hardy apparently got annoyed at this, so why is he so like on board with this movie then?
Well, don't you think it'd be a bit of a total shift to be able to, like, to just take what the first one was, where it was just some weird zany comedy, and just take it into a completely dark direction? They're not going to do that. So the reason they've done it like this is because, I guess,
they had to. They couldn't turn back.
Yeah.
I guess.
And so they thought, either go big or go home. They're just going to make this even more ridiculous than the first one.
This movie I find is way more interesting than the first one.
I mean, the first one, I feel like they're both just kind of like terribly made.
I feel like
crappy. Like, they feel like movies that should have come out like at the same time as like Batman and Robin or like Catwoman or any of those. Like in that era of just like shit, where it's just like really bad comic book movies. I feel like it should have just come out then.
Also, I feel like this movie doesn't beat around the bush with like some of the stuff that happened. You know, some of that stuff that happened in the first movie. Like, it just feels like some of the stuff is being dragged out. Like this one, you know, because it just feels like loads of chopped up scenes just put together, which doesn't really make any like sense structurally. It just
at least there wasn't a scene in the first one where someone uses a symbiote on a laptop to find out where their girlfriend is.
That's the hive mind.
No, it's not. No. If it's the hive mind, why didn't you just tell him like instantly, like, oh, this is where she is, go there? Explain that one to him.
I don't know.
I
go and ask Andy Serkis. Why are you asking me? Go to the premiere of the Batman. Go ask him.
Yeah. And if I was going to go to the premiere of the Batman, this movie's the last thing I want in my head. That movie looks bloody amazing. This was a load of crap. But, yeah, I mean, do you want to talk about the post-credit scene and then...
I think that's pretty much it. Did we find out why Cletus got separated from Carnage in the fight scene?
No, I looked on Wikipedia and I couldn't be bothered to find it. This movie's not worth it as is, so... Yeah,
go watch it, I guess, but...
but don't, please. I don't want this movie to make money, but it will, so...
Yeah, I mean, well, let's talk about this post-credit scene now.
Yeah, and then we'll just talk about any other stupid moments that come into our heads after that.
It doesn't really matter if this movie makes money anymore because they've set him up to be in the MCU because he's been affected by Doctor Strange's spell, which we see in the end credit scene. And he sees Spider-Man on the TV, says, that guy licks the screen. JJ's on the TV as well. I mean, that's a nice little touch, I guess. And then
Spider-Man is on screen without his mask on. How the Daily Bugle got that footage is quite beyond me, but
they're gonna show that in the movie. They are gonna show that in the movie. He does take his mask off at one part. In the trailer, he does, doesn't he? I'm pretty sure he does.
He takes it off when he's in the black and gold suit.
I'm pretty sure. Wait, hold on. Let's talk about end credits scene. I want to watch the trailer. Not watch the trailer, just like skim through the trailer at the moment. Because I'm pretty sure there's one part where he's on the bridge. Like when the news report is happening, he takes off the mask. It would have made more sense. It would have made more sense for them to show, the picture that they were showing where he's in his school photo. It would have made more sense for that. That picture to be on the screen. But I think that's like a bit of a small detail anyway. I mean, I don't know why everyone was like completely mind blown about this. It was really the only direction they could have gone. Oh, one thing actually, let's quickly touch on this. The supposed toxin setup, which is weird as hell.
I forgot about that because it doesn't go in.
It doesn't do it. Like it doesn't make any sense. They don't explain anything.
They don't explain it. It literally, okay. So what happens at the end? Shriek's tried to kill Mulligan or Stephen Graham's character,
the guy from Line of Duty, basically. They're trying to kill him. Carry
on. Anyways, they were like fighting, and then we see obviously Venom eat the Carnage symbiote, and then it just cuts to Stephen Graham again out of it. This movie's edited pretty weirdly as well. Cuts to Stephen Graham out of nowhere, and his eyes are blue, and then it just cuts away, and then that's it.
He says something about monsters.
Yeah. But I assume that's toxin setup. I don't know. They don't really explain what it is at all, and I don't think it matters because now that Venom's in the MCU, does that mean that that's just irrelevant now?
I really don't know because I think I don't know where the hell he's got these powers from. Because
I don't either. They don't. It feels like it was just completely. Like
it can't be from. It won't be from Shriek because if they're setting up toxin, it has to be used with symbiote.
Because it feels like it was completely removed from. Like it feels like there was a scene that was completely removed that showed something happen, but there's nothing that we see.
Yeah, legit nothing. The only thing I can think of is remember when they're having their wedding, and out of Cletus you've got Carnage's tentacles, and he's got one on Anne and one on him on Mulligan. Something there. He might.
The only other thing I was thinking is when Shriek tries to poke out his eye. I don't know what effect that would have, but maybe something to do with that.
Maybe something got inside his eye. Maybe because it's in his eyes. Yeah, that probably.
They don't show anything to kind of make that clear.
Clarify. They don't clarify anything at all. I mean, is it a toxin?
It's such a weird scene that just comes out of nowhere.
There's no toxin effects of anything either because toxin's a symbiote, which basically looks like half Venom, half Carnage. Basically, it's kind of got the structure of Venom, like the body structure of Venom, with the colours have merged from the two. Half of him's black, the top half's red, and his eyes are blue. What?
I was confused by that scene. I thought I'd missed something, but then when you saw it today and you said you didn't see anything either, I didn't really.
Because you said to me the toxin setup's really weird. I don't get it. And I was okay.
I'm like. I usually pay attention when I watch movies, so I usually don't miss that sort of thing. But
I really like Toxin, so I don't know if they're gonna do. I don't want them to do him, but
don't worry, it'll be Let There Be Toxin next.
Yeah, Let There Be Toxin. I don't know. That's like a weird thing because it doesn't even set up a symbiote in my opinion. Like by the looks of it, it's just like setting like it. I think it's more believable. Say if you told someone who knows nothing about comics and knows that doesn't know he turns into toxin, they would probably say, "Oh, it's setting up that he's taking Shriek's powers or something like that."
Yeah, because they don't make anything clear. Like unless you know stuff about comics, then like you're not gonna know what that means, or you'll just be really really confused by that scene.
Yeah, I don't get it.
It's just weird and random. Like it doesn't go anywhere.
I don't get it, but I don't think it'll be addressed either. I don't think it will.
unless Toxin just happens to show up in the next movie or something. I don't really know. Because the thing with Carnage is they were pretty direct with his setup in the first movie. They show Cletus, he says there's going to be Carnage, and it ends. With this one, they've literally shown Stephen Graham with blue eyes, and then that's it. I don't know, it was confusing and weird. I feel like this is one of those things that they should have seen, like, in like test audiences that might have been confused by that, and they could have just like repaired it or fixed it, but
I'm gonna have to watch like maybe a few videos. If anyone's actually done any videos that make any sense on this, try and make sense of it. But I don't think they'll address it, to be honest, because let's just talk about the end credits scene now properly. Venom's gonna be in the MCU. We don't really know what his part's gonna be. We don't know whether if he's gonna be in No Way Home. I assume he will be, maybe.
Possibly, I don't. Well, what's your opinion on the fact that he's even in the MCU now? Because I have a bit to say on this.
How that will make sense, I don't know. And this is what I got this end credit scene spoiled for me because
I didn't.
Instagram.
I knew. I was like, I was willing to. If I was a betting man, I'd be willing to bet a significant amount of money on the fact that Spider-Man was going to be in there. Because it's like, what else is going to get people that excited?
Yeah. Legit. When I saw it, I just watched it because I saw the spoiler. I saw a tweet that said Venom is in the MCU. So I was like, yeah, I know what this is going to be now. So I might as well just watch it. Watch the leaked video. I didn't make any sense. And I don't think it makes much sense either, to be honest.
It makes sense from the MCU's point of view. It doesn't make sense to introduce Venom to Spider-Man now. Because what is his purpose? What is he going to do? There's no reason for Spider-Man to fight Venom now because he has no relationship to this character at all. He has no reason to fight him, like, whatsoever.
Well, Venom recognizes him, and this is the part I want to talk about. Venom recognizes him, says that guy. How does he recognize him? What was Sid's theory? Shout out to Sid, by the way.
Okay, yeah, shout out to Sid, yeah. Sid was saying that he thinks, which I think this is what the most likely route they'll take, is that Venom will see, because obviously the whole of Venom 2 is focusing on him being a hero, the Lethal Protector. I feel like they just saw the title of Lethal Protector and then just didn't know what they were doing. And then they were just like, oh, Lethal Protector is an iconic thing, let's just use that. Anyways, focuses on Venom basically being a superhero, not an anti-hero, because he doesn't really do much as anti-ish. But the thing that Sid was saying was that because they had that big focus, and in the MCU now Spider-Man's seen as a bad guy by people because he killed Mysterio, supposedly. I don't think Mysterio's dead, but they think he killed Mysterio, and Sid's theory was that Venom will see that and be like, oh, he's a bad guy, I want to go and kill him.
Yeah, I think that, I never even thought about it like that. That actually makes a lot of sense, and...
But it's just like, why would you, I don't understand what the point of having Venom, aside from the fact that it's Venom and Spider-Man, what is the point of having them fight each other now? Because this version of Venom is crap, first of all. I don't really want to see him in the MCU. Second of all, there's just no reason for them to fight at all. Third of all, if they do fight, Spider-Man's not going to have... Spider-Man's never going to get the black suit before this, so that's not going to make any difference. And also, as I said before, there's no relation between them, so you're not going to feel anything when they fight. It's going to be a big monster fighting Spider-Man, because it happens in the comics.
Okay, that's the main theory that I think should be put at the top. That is a good theory, I think. But it doesn't make sense to... There's going to be problems, but I don't think Sony would ever address it. It's like, if he was going to fight Spider-Man because he thinks Spider-Man's a bad guy, when he goes and comes into contact with Doc Ock and Green Goblin, and they're trying to hurt civilians, won't he realise, oh, bloody hell, what the hell's going on here? Won't he be confused? That's one thing. And then the theory that I was coming up with, and I think a lot of other people were saying, this hive mind thing that they mentioned, that we've had, what the quote exactly, with the 80 million light years of something of knowledge, where
I think they say, what are they, 80 million light years across multiple universes or something like that of knowledge.
Yeah, worth of knowledge. And that means that the symbiotes share knowledge throughout universes, and Venom knows all of that knowledge, supposedly. That's what they sort of hint at. And then so that means that the Venom from Tobey's universe could have obviously has the knowledge of fighting Spider-Man, and if they're gonna set up a big multiverse kind of thing, they could bring like, I don't any version of Venom. You know, Venom from the animated series, Venom from Spectacular Spider-Man, and so there's going to be a lot of versions of Venom who have come into contact with Spider-Man, and Venom's purpose, like maybe Venom's purpose in the hive mind is to fight Spider-Man, and that's why this Venom feels like a bit of a loser because he doesn't have a Spider-Man to fight. But now he recognizes him from the hive mind, and now that's going to be his like the driven purpose. But there's now a problem with that theory, is that Eddie basically stops him from doing everything. So why would Eddie go along with him fighting Spider-Man? Maybe this is why I said this might be good for this character. Maybe Venom's going to completely take over Eddie, and that's when they're going to actually become one.
Venom's just a big joke in this universe, though, so why would I care about that?
I mean, he's with Spider-Man now, so...
Yeah, but why am I supposed to care? Because this version of Venom sucks, and when he fights Spider-Man, I'm not going to feel anything. Because even if they establish that with Venom, okay, what's Spider-Man's connection to Venom? Spider-Man has no reason to fight Venom.
Maybe Toby will say something.
Toby will kick the shit out of this version of Venom in like 2 seconds. It's like, he'll because he's already beat the one from Spider-Man 3, and even though this one's a bit bigger, like what is he realistically going to do? He already knows how to beat Venom. He killed him once, so kill him again.
I don't know. This is what I don't know if they'll address it in No Way Home. That's the thing.
I don't either. But wasn't this supposed to? Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if this is true. Was this supposed to come out after No Way Home first?
No, I think it's always been set for No Way Home, because I remember when it first got. I think when the date first got released.
Because I thought No Way Home was supposed to come out in like July this year or something at first.
Wasn't this meant to come out in like May?
Ago.
This was meant to come out in like May.
This was supposed to come out sometime last year, I think. But
last year or this year. I think
COVID
the first
kind of changed things up, so that probably had something to do with it.
But obviously, who bloody knows, man? I don't know if they're gonna address him in this in No Way Home, or if they're gonna leave it. Obviously, there's basically an obviously report, because Tom Holland's obviously said it, that there's gonna be a decent break, but like with this Spider-Man and his story, and this No Way Home is going to complete the trilogy kind of thing. Yeah. And then where I think it's going to leave it at a point where if Sony doesn't want to extend their contract, it'll be a complete trilogy within the MCU. But if they do, obviously it's going to be open to more.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know where this is going to go, to be honest. I mean, it's like, I thought it was really expected. This is the most obvious thing they could have done with the post-credit scene of this movie. Like, after Carnage, this just proves that after Carnage, what could you do? Well, just in general, what could you do with Venom without Spider-Man? You can't do anything, so they have to bring Spider-Man in. And this just proves that everyone who was saying, including me, who was saying before, like ages ago when the first Venom was announced, this isn't going to work without Spider-Man, were right. Because they've basically given up and put Spider-Man there now. Because they can't do anything else with Venom without Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's true.
But then also, what's the point of the toxin? What's the point of toxin? Like, what's the point of toxin set up in the movie? Because if Venom's going to Spider-Man now, why am I going to care about toxin yet? Because I'm supposed to care about I was about to say Eddie, Venom, whatever you want to call him, being with Spider-Man, but I don't care about that either because this version of Venom's shit.
I think. I don't know if they're gonna, if they try and do it in No Way Home, it's gonna be way too cramped, because we've already got Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Electro, Lizard, supposedly Sandman. There was one
supposedly
person.
Everyone's in this movie. Green Goblin, Danger Hands, Green Goblin, New Goblin might come back. Ned's gonna be the Hobgoblin. I'm gonna be in the movie. I'm gonna be playing Hydro Man. You'll be in the movie. You can play. Who do you want to play?
I don't know. I'll play Shocker, like reincarnated.
Yeah, Shocker. Yeah, you could be the Asian Shocker. You could be like Electric Boom.
Yeah, yeah. But I don't know. I don't know. It's really weird. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. Like, there's just
I'm not sure anything. That's the only thing I am sure about. This movie sucks ass. And Venom coming to the MCU is pointless because he has no connection to Spider-Man at all, and I really struggle to see how they're going to give him one that's going to be as meaningful as what it is in the like. Because the thing is, I don't mind them changing things slightly about Venom's origin. For example, in Spider-Man the animated series, they change it slightly because obviously having this whole cancer thing isn't exactly the kind of
it's like not what you want to be putting in a kids show.
It's not what you're going to put in a kids show, yeah. And also
Yeah.
the thing where they change it slightly, where in that show he's like saying that Spider-Man stole the Prometheum X from the shuttle, and the way the symbiote comes to Earth and everything is slightly different. They change stuff in that, and I like that version. This is not a good version of Venom because, aside from the fact that he's a big monster who looks a bit like Venom, and his name is Venom, there's nothing about this character that resembles the comic version, in my opinion.
It just has you're right in saying it has no connection to Spider-Man, but I think this is where this hive mind thing's going to kick in.
I just think that was a line that they're just chatting crap to try and. I mean, it might. I don't know, but the thing is, the thing that I kind of like is giving me a little bit of confidence. Maybe Kevin Feige is involved in this somehow. So maybe
no, I think he would. I think he would be. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe they'll be able to do something, but I don't have my hopes high because I don't see what. As I said, I don't see how they can bring this version of Venom to the MCU and give him any sort of meaningful relationship to Spider-Man and give him a fight with Spider-Man that will mean something, aside from the fact that, oh, they did it in the comics and it'll look cool, so we'll just do it and people will squeal because Spider-Man and Venom are fighting each other now.
I'm not sure. That's why I don't think they'll wait for another Spider-Man solo movie, because apparently the whole premise of No Way Home is to get all the villains back. This is like rumored to get all the villains back to their original universes. So doesn't that mean they'll have to take Venom back? So that means he will be in this movie.
Venom's not a villain, which is again why you bring him to the MCU. What is the point?
Yeah,
Venom's
knows?
not a villain. So
only Kevin Feige knows the answer to all this, I think.
Most likely, him or Amy Pascal. Was Amy Pascal involved in this movie? Pascal Productions, the logo was at the end of this movie. So, most likely.
Who knows, man? It's a mess of a movie, and they've made this situation with Spider-Man No Way Home even messier. Because we were saying this before, Spider-Man No Way Home could be a massive mess, and the trailer hasn't really changed our perspective on that.
If this movie is less than like 2.5 hours, that's being tame. Like I don't understand how they're gonna have all this, because it's supposedly the entire Sinister Six, Spider-Man, like whole identity reveal, that's gonna be in there. Toby's gonna be in there. Andrew's gonna be in there. They're gonna have to give somewhat satisfying conclusions to their arcs unless they're planning on carrying them on. Now Venom's supposedly gonna be in there. If Daredevil's in there, they're gonna have to do stuff with him. If Doctor Strange is in there, they're gonna have to do stuff with him. This movie just sounds like it's gonna have potentially too much in it.
It sounds like it might just be loads of like fan service mashed together, and it probably won't be a very, very good movie. But
yeah,
I think the trailer distracted everyone from that thought, though. Don't you think? Because everyone stopped saying that.
If I'm being honest, the trailer looks good.
The trailer does look good, but
this,
who knows?
The fact that Venom's come to the MCU now and is going to probably be in that movie is kind of scaring me a bit, because I don't think that that's the best decision they could have made. Because I know people will say, "Oh, we really want Venom to come to the MCU," and even like people are going to say, "Oh, but you're saying that Venom should have why you're always complaining that Venom isn't with Spider-Man and now he is, and you're still complaining." The problem with that is he should have been with Spider-Man from the start, because now that you haven't put him with Spider-Man from the start, there's going to be nothing there that's interesting that you can do with these characters, unless they can prove me wrong. I mean, I don't know. But
maybe you know what? Maybe he'll be in the end credit scene for No Way Home.
Well, what's the point of that?
Because I think there'll be 2 end credit scenes. There won't be jokes. One of them will set up Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, and one of them will set up another Spider-Man movie, or like something connected to Spider-Man, and that might be the Venom thing.
Unless they set up Morbius with that.
Bloody Morbius.
We forgot that was in the equation.
Well, yeah, we nearly forgot until they started showing the trailer in front of Venom, which kind of.
I mean, now that kind of makes sense why Vulture's in the Morbius trailer, or why Morbius is potentially the MCU. Maybe he got sucked in through the multiverse. That scene with Vulture will probably be the post-credit scene, knowing Sony.
maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, that's really all I have to say. There's a lot of confusion, and I don't think we'll get any answers anytime soon. The next, in terms of what Venom related, the next thing with No Way Home. That's if he's even in it. If we watch the
No
whole
Way
movie,
Home is
he's
the
not
next
in
piece
it.
of the puzzle in this big Spider-Man Sony like jigsaw.
I don't think they know the end result of this. Never mind us trying to piece it together.
Sony. I think Kevin Feige might have a general idea of what to do, but what Sony lets them do is a different question.
Yeah, and I think with obviously with the Venom thing, if we don't see him in No Way Home in any shape or form, like even in the post-credit scene, where the bloody hell is he gone? I don't know, but
I don't know. I just don't know what they're doing with this version of Venom. Like, do you remember when we made that video? Click here, I guess if you haven't seen it. Where they said that, where we said that they don't have a plan. Like, that's the main problem with Sony and Marvel. They just don't have a plan with what they're doing with any of this. And I still think that's true. They don't know what the hell they're doing, unless No Way Home is like the big glue that kind of puts it all together.
Even then, it's gonna like we said, it's gonna have to be. I think it has to be at least 3 hours. At least, if it wants.
That's whether they want to do that.
If it wants to fully explain everything, but judging from this movie, it's 1.5 hours. Didn't explain shit all. It's not. I don't know.
As we said, this movie's barely a movie; it's just a collection of scenes that kind of just go together.
This is, you know, one thing this makes me think as well. This is probably my last point on like this whole debacle. This makes me think that maybe, obviously, I think by now it's all but confirmed that Toby and Andrew are in the movie. But this makes me think that they might not even show them in the movie because now they've got even more stuff to cram in, which is officially confirmed.
Please, for the love of God, do not waste an opportunity to bring back Toby and Andrew and waste it on this shitty version of Venom. Please, don't do that. Yeah. I really hope they don't, because again, I feel like that's a whole story in and of itself. Because they have to establish a whole relationship now between. Because this would have been like, it's basically made for them if they just put Venom with Spider-Man to begin with, but they haven't done that, so now they need to come up with their own story where Venom and Spider-Man somehow link together, and I don't see how that fits into this whole identity reveal thing.
But you know what the thing is? You know, if you think about this, where does any of the villains that are in No Way Home, they don't have any connection to Tom Holland's Spider-Man unless they
don't. They have a connection to Toby and Andrew.
Exactly, but they like, I don't even get it, because that theory that they're gonna see their versions of Spider-Man as Tom Holland's gonna be.
I think that theory is like BS.
It's way too complicated, but that's I don't know what's going on, but it's legit. We've had it's nearly an hour this review is coming up to, and we've come around in a whole full circle where we said in the last video that we made on this movie, talking about this movie, that they don't know what the hell they're doing.
Mm-hmm. And again, this post-credit scene just goes to show and prove that everyone who said that Spider-Man should have been with Venom from the beginning was right, because they've run out of ideas of what to do with Venom on his own, so they've gone and put him in the MCU now.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say.
And I think it's proof that these two movies pretty much suck, in a way. I mean, this whole movie's a mess. I feel like I didn't even fully address all the stupid things that happened in it, but...
Does it say Venom will return at the end of the credits? Because I didn't wait.
No. Don't be silly. Do you think they're really that prepared? They probably filmed this post-credit scene on the fly. It looks like Tom Holland was in front of like some green screen in someone's garage when they on the footage they showed. But yeah, I mean, as I said, I don't even know if I've really addressed everything I want to say about this movie. This review's probably a complete mess, just like the movie. But isn't that just how these things go? It's fitting.
I don't think there was any way to structure this review at all.
Yeah, it was just a big.
You just kind of have to rant. Yeah, you just kind of have to rant, but
yeah.
But
at least we've exercised this movie, got it out of our system now. In a way.
Really, I don't think they're gonna let you forget it, especially showing up in Spider-Man.
You're not gonna hear the end of this for a good while, especially with depending on what happens with No Way Home. But yeah, I guess that's about it. So, if you guys enjoyed There Be Carnage, or just wanted to let us know what you thought about anything in this movie, be sure to let us know in the comments below. Be sure to hit the like button, share this video around YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button for more videos like this. Be sure to check out our Instagram and Twitter, links in the description. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. See ya.